You know, the alt-right is a real movement sucking in young people, primarily young teenage boys that are full of angst, that are full of questions, that don't see a bright future ahead of them. And the alt-right sucks these young boys in to create a movement of white pride, of anti-diversity. And they do this through memes and sarcasm and making fun of the left because the left is their ultimate enemy, because the left stands for diversity. We're going to continue with our conversation today about the alt-right. What is up, you sinners and saints, you heathens, demons, beautiful and blasphemous people? Welcome back to A Raging Atheist. I'm your boy Nakasuchi, and today, once again, we're looking at Mr. D'Amigo, we're looking at the alt-right, we're looking at the Nazi. But before we look at the Nazi, I want to thank my patrons. Your support is making this channel better, and moving forward, there's going to be a whole slew of new content and benefits for you guys getting organized. If you would like to be a patron, link is in the description below. Alright, so when I first started making these videos, I had planned on doing all four in the same day, but I told you guys I had a lot of construction outside. I wasn't able to do it. It was just too loud. So today I'm going to finish filming these videos, get them done, and get them over with. Because quite frankly, I don't like listening to these alt-right douchebags. It really gives me a headache, and to me, they are one of the ultimate enemies. To me, the enemies are the rich oligarch, the rich people that want to hoard their wealth and want to keep people down. Not all rich people are like that, but the oligarchy, that's like probably my number one enemy. My number two enemy would be anyone that stands against equality, stands against social justice, stands against diversity. So let's get back into it. Let's hear what the Nazi has to say. And once again, Trump supporters, you know, I'm not calling you a Nazi. I'm just telling you, you need to understand that your guy has become the voice for these Nazis. And you need to ask yourself, are you comfortable with that? There are plenty of other Republicans you can latch onto. This does not have to be your guy. It is up to you.
I think their fear is that your goal, or at least the goal of some in the alt-right movement, is to take over the government, federal, state, and local.
Well, I mean, we have received a world in which, you know, we are being replaced, and the government, you know, that I continue to hear, you know, this idea that, you know, this country was created for whites, which it was. However, that you know, the arrows are pointing to us.
I mean, so that rhetoric right there just shows you the root of their fear. We are being taken over. This is a white country. We are being taken over. The arrows are pointed at us.
That is cult-like behavior.
So they are not afraid to show you their fear. They're just not labeling it as their fear. But that's where it's rooted from. So they're afraid of being taken over. But let's discuss this is a white nation thing. This country was not created to be a white nation. There were people here for thousands of years before white people ever came here. White people stole that land from those people. So this country was literally, if it was created at all, would have been created for red people.
And that's simply not true. All the government policies, all the classes in college and school I've ever had actually point the other direction. It says diversity is a good thing, we should have more of this, so on and so forth.
Well, I think that a lot of people would be interested in the distinction between separatist and supremacist, right? So if you just prefer to be among people with whom you're more familiar, that's one thing. But if you want to dominate other people or cast them out, that's another.
And I want to be like as honest as I can with you. That's very tricky, but there does come, I personally believe there does come a point at which if you are trying to, you know, replace an entire race of people, there does come a point where it is the moral imperative of those people to say, hey, we have rights, we have the right to an existence, and we have right to a space of our own, a space where we can be safe and where we can be us.
So these last two clips are essentially this Nazi telling you that they have infiltrated our government, that they have been trying to infiltrate our government because they're being taken over, we're being taken over, and they're doing this for us. They're doing this for all of whiteness, and we need to have our own place where we're safe away from all these brown people that scare us. And it makes you really nervous. Like, you know, how have they been infiltrating our government? For how long have they been trying to infiltrate our government? We do see these very extreme immigration policies now very popular in the Republican Party. Very popular. These used to be the very fringe, extreme immigration policies. Now it's what all of them want.
That is cult-like behavior.
And I'm really not trying to get into a Russia conversation when it comes to Trump, at least not here, not in this video, not right now. But we should start asking the question, is Trump really a Nazi? We know that he was following known white supremacists on Twitter until he got called out for it. We know that his dad was caught at a KKK meeting. I know they say that he wasn't part of the meeting, but he was arrested at a KKK meeting. We have what happened in the buildings, kicking all the black people out, saying that they only want Jews and business people, white people in their buildings. We have a lot of evidence. Is he a neo-Nazi? Is he a white supremacist? Does he hate diversity? I think his actions play this out, and I think this is one of the major questions we should be asking about this president.
And that's just not happening right now. We are not being respected.
So you feel like you're the ones who are kind of being treated as the minorities?
I mean, that kind of depends on, again, it goes back to values. Like, our society's values, our institutions are not pointing towards us. It's pointing towards a promotion of diversity. It's pointing towards our replacement.
You know that diversity includes a lot of white people. So, I mean, you're a minority even among white people.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that, but we're growing very fast. Things are changing very rapidly.
And why do you think things are growing very fast? Why do you think things are changing very rapidly? Because the alt-right has been successful in sucking in young, impressionable minds full of anger, full of angst, full of why is life like the way it is. That's common teenage shit, and they're playing on that to create this movement.
That is cult-like behavior.
And it doesn't help when you have the President of the United States who gives no fucks. The president gives no fucks about race, about decorum, about his rhetoric. He gives no fucks about dog whistling to these Nazis and saying they're very fine people, and then people that you would think would be very fine people come out and defend this motherfucker. And honestly, there's only so far not knowing will get you, because you could fucking know this shit. You don't have to be sucked into Fox News or whatever right-wing outlet that is feeding you a bunch of bullshit. The truth is out there, it's easy to fucking find, and it's really not even a fucking excuse anymore.
Because people are starting to, the more racially diverse the country becomes, the more people are realizing their whiteness. They're realizing that they have something shared with other people that they didn't realize before.
No, they are not realizing their whiteness. There is really no such thing. There is this pigment of our skin color, and there's this culture that we have, and white culture consists of many different subcultures within it. There is no white way of doing shit. Especially not now. Not here in this country when we've had decades of the melting pot. Every generation is more diverse, and you hate that. And I love that you hate that. I hope you go to bed dreaming about it. I hope your butt hurts about it. I truly wish this for you.
And that would actually be an argument for a more homogenous society, is that in homogenous societies, you can become more individualistic, because if everyone's kind of the same, at least on a racial basis, then you know, that's one less distinction to make between people. So that actually, in fact, is really funny, because Sean King actually just put out a tweet the other day with a picture of people within the Republican Party celebrating, and it was very, like, pretty much everyone there was white.
That's right, Republicans. You know, these Nazis aren't just giving props to Donald Trump, they're giving props to y'all. They're giving props to y'all for your whiteness, for your lack of diversity in your party, for your dog whistles to them, for your blatant Southern strategy, your blatant racism over the last 20 to 30 fucking years. They're giving you props too. So all you Republicans out there that think that you have nothing to do with fucking Nazis, guess what? You've been propping up these Nazis and giving them power with your stupidity. All you gun-toting Americans out there that talk about patriotism and what it takes to be a real American.
That is cult-like behavior. And he was saying, it's look how unified the Republican Party is, being all white.
Actually, Mike Pence is the one who tweeted that out first.
Okay, but he took the picture. He took the picture and was like, had a kind of a snarky comment on it, and was saying, look at how unified they are. They're all white. And it was kind of funny because some of us were joking around about what Sean King said about it, because we're like, well, is Sean King arguing for identitarianism? He just made our point. The more the more racially homogenous a society is, the more that's going to function. The more unity you're going to have between the parts.
I mean, it's literally funny because it doesn't prove shit. The Republican Party is a quagmire of failure. They had 2 fucking years. 2 years to get their agenda done with no opposition, and they didn't get shit done. If anything, this proves that diversity works. If anything, this proves that bipartisanship works. If anything, this proves with coming together and finding common ground on an idea instead of constantly bickering over the minutia of it. That's the way to get shit done. Not having a room full of rich-ass white people, but having a room full of everybody with many, many, many ideas, many solutions. That's the only way. This is evidence that your identitarianism doesn't fucking work. But we're gonna end this one before I get too worked up. I got one more video and I'm done with this shit, and I can stop thinking about these alt-right Nazi douchebags for a long time, hopefully, at least until the election. So hopefully I can get done with it.
No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA! So stand me up close! No KKK! No fascist USA! No Trump!